Carlo Ginotti. Tonight's guests, community pioneers Jack and Patti Salter, Royal Oak businessman Michael Chetcuti, Royal Oak sound-off webmaster Brian Shelby, and from Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, Dwoskin. With music from the Royal Oak Symphony Orchestra. And now, Carlo Ginotti!
All right, Ross, thank you. Thank you very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen. We have a great show as usual. Andy, can you believe this is our 10th show tonight?
I thought you were going to say 10th season.
Well, it could be. You're thinking ahead.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of seasons, how about them Lions, huh? Did you go to the game?
It's not happening, is it? This is like somebody pinched me. I was at the game and I saw with my own two eyes, not believing it.
I was getting reports from people that had an earphone in their ear, and it was 44-0, 8 minutes left, and we kept saying, well, there's plenty of time for the Lions.
Right. This thing could still go south on us. I know.
You know, we're kind of in a tight spot tonight because, as most of you know, the writers in Hollywood, they're on strike tonight, so Andy and I have to write our own material tonight. So, you know, if we bomb, it's not our fault. Blame the unions out in California. But I did take the time today through my busy schedule to write down some material, and I'd like to kind of share it with you tonight.
Well, I hope
before
you do.
We get into our guests.
Absolutely.
I mean, you heard about the two antennas that met on a roof, fell in love, and got married. The wedding wasn't much, but the reception was great.
Hey, but you know.
I got to be careful. We've got a professional comedian tonight, so I don't want to upstage him.
That's right. Wow.
You ever had two cannibals that were eating a clown, and one turned to the other one and said, does this taste funny to you? Okay. Where's the applause
You got
sign
a
when you need
million
it?
of those things. Yeah, pull that applause.
And last but not least, I'm sure you've heard of Mahatma Gandhi, haven't you? You know who Mahatma Gandhi is.
I remember it well, sure.
You know, he did a lot of walking without shoes on, so his feet became very calloused. And because of his diet, you know, his teeth were kind of bad, and he had some bad breath. So he was known, and this is so bad it's a little good. He was known as the super calloused, fragile mystic hexed by halitosis. Did you know that? All right, I can see this is going to be a tough crowd tonight. Very, very tough crowd.
Those writers need to get back in quick, right?
I think there's a bunch of people on the phone right now calling California. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for coming. We've got a great show for you tonight. As Andy said, we've got Jack and Patti Salter. We've got Mike Chetcuti. We've got Ryan Shelby. And we've got comedian Jeff Dwoskin. And without further delay, I will turn it over to Andy. He's going to tell us what's happening in and around our great city. Andy, it's all yours.
All right. Well, thank you, Carlo. The Royal Oak Show Community Buzz for this evening consists of Safety That's City. It for the Community Buzz. And now for a man who is actually a little bit mature for his age. In fact, his favorite popsicle flavor as a child was bourbon. Carlo Ginotti.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, these next two people need no introduction at all. You mentioned the name Jack and Patti Salter, and everyone in our city and probably within a 50-mile radius know who they are. So, my first guest, Jack and Patti Salter. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
All right. You know, it's true what they say, and I know that you're both very humble, and you're not going to admit to it. But whenever somebody does say Jack and Patti Salter, everyone knows exactly who you are. Is that? Can you agree with me there?
Yeah.
Not always.
Okay. Now, you guys have been in our city for quite some time. I won't ask you for how long, but you've been in Royal Oak, in and about our area for quite a while.
Almost 50 years.
Yeah, 45 years.
We've been married.
She's always right, Jackie. And you guys have been married for how long?
45.
45.
45. So you came
So
to...
we bought our house in Royal Oak when we got married.
What, I got to ask you this question, and I ask all my guests, so why Royal Oak? What brought you here?
Well, I was graduating from Wayne State University. I moved from Pasadena, California to finish school. And I worked full-time at the Highland Park Boys Club while I was going to school at Wayne State. And I don't know if you remember the name Fred Pieper, came down and asked me if I'd interview for the new boys club that was opening in Royal Oak. So I came out, and fortunately I was accepted for the job. And her sister lived a half a block from the club, and all 4 boys came to the club, and I met her 3 years later.
So you met her through the
boys club, right.
Yeah. I used to come to the house and babysit them. And
Was it love at first sight?
Just about. At least in my part.
There you go. Took her a little time to warm up to you? Is that
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my nephews used to talk about Jack this, Jack that, and I thought, who is this Jack? And my other two sisters married Jacks. My dad said, I don't want another Jack in the family. But I got the best Jack.
You did? No, Jack, what were you doing in Pasadena? I know that you were involved out in...
Well, I grew up in Pasadena, California. In fact, my only claim to something is I played my high school football games at the Rose Bowl, because that was our home stadium. So I used all the Rose Bowl games as a kid. And I transferred to Wayne State to finish college. And I thought I was going to go back to California to take a job when I met Patti. So I almost accepted a job back in Pasadena, and I met her and decided to stay.
Okay.
Best decision ever made in my life.
And you did a stint in the military as well, is that?
Yes, spent 4 years in the Korean War. I flew as a radar operator in the Pacific during the Korean War.
But you got some stories there that are worth
Not
telling.
like the World War II veterans, but I flew in air rescue all over the South Pacific.
Well, let me ask you a question. I know, Patti, that you were 2 weeks, well, at the end of September, you were a guardian
Right.
with the honor flight. And Jack, have you been?
I went in June.
Okay, so you were as a guardian?
Both of us
Yes.
went as guardians.
Tell me what that was like. I mean,
I'll let her tell you because she met Colin Powell.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us?
It was really awesome. And these men are such gentlemen. And they were so excited when we got into Washington, D.C. They walked into the, to see all the people, and everyone was clapping. And the one man said, why are they clapping? And I said, they just announced you were a World War II veteran. And he said, I didn't do anything. I just was serving my country.
They don't even realize that
No,
they're.
and he had tears in his eyes, and it was really nice.
Would you do it again? Would you go as a guardian?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I hope to go maybe next year again.
Now, I understand they're starting it up in the spring. I know
In
it's
April.
not.
In April.
Okay. Well, everyone out there is everyone knows Jack and Patti Salter, of course, and we know that we have the senior center that has both of your names on that. Tell us, since both of you have been in our community, how you got to what keeps you going? Let's just ask that question.
The people, it's the greatest community in the world, and it's the nicest people in the world. And I have the best wife in the world. You may disagree with that, but your wife.
No.
In fact, Patti met your father-in-law on the trip.
Yeah, the
That's
World
right,
War II
he
veteran.
was a veteran.
He was a veteran.
Yeah.
And we do have a tie other than coming from Highland Park. You also knew my mother-in-law as well, as
That's
quite
right.
some time ago. Both of you are involved with the community through Shrine and
Through Shrine and a lot of other things, through the Optimist Club.
And I knew your mother, too, when she worked at Shrine, because I would come in and help in the office
Did she
when
tell
our
you?
kids were in grade school.
You didn't
She
tell
told
anything
her-
about me, did
Oh,
you?
yes, she did.
Good things.
All good things, of course. The community keeps you here, Jack. I know you're also with the 44th District Court,
Yeah.
and you work with young people through the probation
I
department. correct?
retired in 1991 from the club, and the judges are good friends of mine. They asked me if I would work part-time as a probation officer, and I said okay for a few years, and that was 14 years ago. And I work with kids 17 through 21 or 22 getting a little bit of trouble, and my job is to try to help them get their life straightened out.
That's got to be a tough job, but it's also got to be kind of rewarding. Do you see any changes, Patti, with Jack when he's at work and he runs into like a tough?
Oh, golly, he cares so much about them, and he wants to help every kid, and that's what's really hard. Because the judges finally told him, Jack, you can't help everyone, but help the ones you really think you can.
You have to set a priority, I would imagine.
And I enjoy it. One fellow not long ago, he said, if it hadn't been for you, Mr. Salter, I would be in prison now. And I said, oh no, all we do is give the opportunity. And now he's going to Wayne State, taking 17 credit hours, getting all A's and B's, and he wants to own his own business. And money can never repay that. When you see a young man turn his life around, it's just great. I would do it again.
Yeah, that is such a healthy outlook on life. And I know both of you are so involved with the community. You must see the good and the bad. Being involved with the boys club and probation and everything else, you probably
One
see
fella that he had too, we went to his graduation, and he's been sober for how many years?
6 years. Came in to
years.
see me the other day.
And he looks great, has a job. You know, he said, you saved my life.
Well, that's got to be something when you see somebody who is so troubled and maybe other people have forgotten about him or her, and several years later, because of your intervention, you're going to his graduation, his wedding. That's got to be rewarding for both of you.
It's great. It's, as I said, I'm still trying to help you, Carlo. Someday maybe
Some
I
would say
can.
I'm beyond
No,
hope,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm still a young guy. There's still hope for you.
Compared to me, yes.
And a lot of the boys from the Boys and Girls Club, too. Some of them that come back now will say, Jack, you helped me, you saved my life. It's really, that's rewarding.
And Brett's doing a great job now.
Yes. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk more about your involvement and some of the good things that you see in our community. And we'll be back in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, don't leave. We'll be right back with Jack and Patti Sullivan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Royal Oak Show, where we have the icons of our community, Jack and Patti Salter. Guys, again, thanks for coming on the show, and it's guests like you that make this all worthwhile, and it makes it fun. It's not even like work. It's almost like I'm not getting paid. Wait a minute, are we getting paid? Now,
Need a raise.
They're going to double my benefits next year, I think. Now, Patti, there's a little known information that you worked. Are you retired now?
I work 1 or 2 days a week.
Okay, but you're in semi-retirement now.
Right.
But there's something that very few people can say, and that is during your entire career, your work ethic is above reproach. And by that, how many days have you missed in all of your professional career?
None.
None.
And no days in high school.
No day. You perfect attendance record in high school, and you've never missed a day of work.
Right.
Now, I have a theory here that it's because maybe you want to get to work and get out of the house with Jack. Is that what it is? You don't want to stay home? Is that
Right.
Okay. No, that is something that very few people can say nowadays.
I've been really lucky. I've been very healthy.
You have 4 children.
Right.
And how many grandchildren do you guys
8.
have?
All of our children are adopted.
Yeah.
And do your grandchildren live in the area?
3 live in Michigan, 1 lives in Nevada.
And you get to see them?
Of the kids
Of
and
the kids,
of the
all the
grandkids.
grandchildren live in this area.
Oh, so you get to see them a lot then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Go
do
to
they
their
think?
games, babysit.
They keep you busy?
Right.
Is it easier raising the children or having the grandchildren? You could always give the grandkids back,
We
right?
give
Yeah.
the grandchildren
Yeah.
back.
That's
a lot
easier.
easier.
Yeah.
Well, can you guys imagine living anywhere else but Royal Oak, living in our
No,
community?
a lot of people asked me if I'd go back to California, and I said no. We'll always live in Royal Oak.
I can't imagine Royal Oak without the 2 of you here, and I'm not saying that because you're on my show, although I guess I would have to because you're sitting right there.
Because we're
But I
here.
really can't imagine Royal Oak without the 2 of you here. There's so much that you've given to the community.
It works
And-
both ways. They
Yeah.
give a lot to us.
That's important. Do you feel do you take something from the community as well as give back?
Go ahead, dear.
Yeah. Well, sure. I think we enjoy all the people that we've met, and people from Shrine, people from the Boys Club, our neighbors.
We've
When-
been really lucky. We're
When you
great
started,
friends.
when you started at the Boys Club, it didn't look anything like it did now,
No,
does it?
it's 24 by 36-foot log cabin. That's what it was. And
He knew one person in Royal
I
Oak
looked
when
my
he moved here.
aunt, and the budget, including my salary, when I started the club, was $10,000.
Wow.
That was it.
And you
That's
built
what
it,
we got married on.
You know,
and you still married him.
yeah, I swept floors and did the intake. Was 50 cents a year to join the club, and we had 600 members within 3 weeks.
Wow. We've talked about this before, Jack. I remember that log cabin. I was a member in Highland Park on, I think it was on Church Street in Highland Park. Is it Ferris?
Fair Street,
Ferris.
right?
Paris. Mhm.
And
I used to kick you out when you were bad.
see, I can't escape you. You can't escape me, I guess. But the Boys and Girls Club now has grown and has done such a wonderful job with, like
It's
as you indicated,
great.
with Brett Talander. You guys have done such a great thing. Tell us a little bit about where you see the Boys and Girls Club going, and where is it going to stop?
I think it's a great thing, and I can't use the name, but I called Brett last week. He couldn't call back. He's called back later because he helps me a lot on the computer. He's very knowledgeable. And he told me the next day he was talking to a young lady who didn't want to go home because the club was running Salvation. There's a lot of problems with the family, and she just didn't want to go home. That was her life. And that happens with a lot of kids. The Boys and Girls Club is their life. It's a home away from home where the kids can go safe and it's drug-free and things like that. I would do the same thing over again. Money can never repay this satisfaction you get for helping people. It's the greatest job in the world.
You know, that is something that's a character, a trait that you just don't see nowadays. People in our fast-paced society, they take and they never give back, and I don't think anybody can say that about the two of you. I don't, not the most recent, but maybe the year before when they had the dinner, when you read the roll from all of the members dating back for many, many decades, it was quite impressive for me to sit in the audience and hear the list of names. And I think you even had the number, the original membership number of a few of them.
Oh, yes.
Some of them are in the single digit.
The number one member was John Turnage, and his niece now works at court. And Patti knew I'll never forget his name, was John Turnage. And he was the first member to join the club, and when he comes back, he tries to see me when he comes back to town.
Patti, you're working the election, this upcoming election?
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
Probably about 7 years.
Okay, you find that to be exciting?
Oh, yeah.
I imagine you see all kind of different people.
Yeah.
Let me ask both of you this question, since you've been around and you've been part of our community. What are some of the things that you've noticed that have changed in our community? Not for the bad, but just have changed, and where you see our community going, perhaps in 5 years.
Do you want to say something, Derek?
Well, you can start.
Well, I know the agencies in this community, I don't think there's any community in the United States that has more people that care about other people, including you and what you do here every week. But you have the Salvation Army, the YWCA, the YMCA. My wife's on the board of the YWCA. I'm still very involved as a volunteer for the Boys and Girls Club. People work together in this community, like the Citizens Dinner last year. Honor Flight Dave Cameron was Citizen of the Year, and he just had a heart attack. And the outpouring of love with people, what other community in this state has done what we have done for Honor Flight, to send World War II veterans. And everybody works together in this community.
And I think like the Lions Club, the Optimist Club, all those, they really get together, and that's what's helped our community a lot.
Well, the Optimist Club, Christie started the Boys and Girls Club. That's how I became an Optimist Club member almost 50 years ago.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming on the show. I know the time together has gone by so quickly, but I want to thank both of you, Jack and Patti Salter, for being on the Royal Oak Show. And I hope that you'll come back again in the future.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, Jack and Patti Salter. What more can I say?
The Royal Oak Show website is accessible 24/7. Visit RoyalOakShow.com to get tickets to our next taping. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. We've got sitting with me, we've got Mike Chetcuti. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
How you been?
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah, I heard you. We were talking earlier today. You just flew in from Vegas, huh?
Yeah, this morning, a little late flight. Took the red eye back from about 7 or 8 days in Vegas for that SEMA show.
What is that?
It's a Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association, and they deal in everything aftermarket for the automotive business.
Okay, is that Mike? Tell us what your line of work is.
Well, I'm in low volume manufacturing and engineering of metallic components as one end of my business, but the other end of my business is we own an aftermarket brand that participates in the off-road and rock crawling market that's called American Expedition Vehicles.
All right, and you are one of the reasons you are on the Royal Oak Show is that you're bringing a good portion of your business here to Royal Oak. Is that correct?
That's correct. We purchased and have renovated what was formerly the Billings feed building, and we tore down some of the building, and we kept the historic structure, and we're going to keep a corporate office there, and it's going to house some people from our manufacturing facility, which is in Livonia, called Quality Metalcraft, and we also do some architectural business out of that building that we're going to do marketing through Royal Oak. And then American Expedition Vehicles will have some finance and marketing staff as well as engineering staff there in Royal Oak.
Well, I know that anybody who has had the opportunity to drive by will see that you guys have done a magnificent job with that building. And I think there were a lot of people who were a little nervous about anytime you change something or change something that's been around for a while, people get a little nervous. And I think when people drive by and look at what you've done, any hesitation will go right out the window.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, it was a great project. I know that there were a lot of other people that were in there negotiating to purchase that property, and I know we're the only people that were considering saving the building. And you know, working with a guy like Rick Johnson, I mean, he's turned out to be a great friend, the person we bought the building from, and he just helped us with so many different things that we had to get done to get the building renovated.
Now, when when are you going to be open for business?
Probably within a week.
Okay, so we'll expect to see your face around Royal Oak a lot more. Huh?
I'm around all the time anyway, but within a week, yeah.
Okay, good. And I opened up so to speak, that you were coming in from Vegas. Is it true what they say about Vegas? What happens out there stays out there?
I travel everywhere. What happens wherever I go stays wherever I go.
So we won't be.
It's not just Vegas.
We won't be going into details about what happened.
No. This SEMA thing, I don't know if you know very much about it, but it is gigantic, gigantic. Literally thousands of cars displaying thousands of different accessories. It's the largest convention that comes to Las Vegas. And it's mind-boggling to even get through to try to just get a grasp on what's going on and what everybody's up to globally in the aftermarket. I mean, we have our niche in off-road and four-wheel drive, and we try to keep a handle on what's going on with those folks, but trying to soak it all in, it's just incredible.
Well, we're glad you're opening up shop here in Royal Oak. What are we going to see coming out of the old Billings building? What are some of the products that the average Joe on the street will notice?
Well, you'll definitely see the American Expedition vehicles. We have a product line which includes the new JK Wrangler, which we do trail-rated upfitting for the JK Wrangler, where we take it to the next level and really take that base vehicle and build the ultimate off-road vehicle out of it. And there's various levels of upfit that you can do. So you'll see JK Wranglers around the Royal Oak building all the time. But then we have a different product which is on the previous generation Wrangler, which is called the TJ Wrangler. And that is a product where we take and we cut the vehicle in half and get rid of the majority of the vehicle. Besides the cowl and the doors and the windshield, everything else is thrown away. The roof, the rear, the hood, the fenders, and we create what's called the American Expedition Vehicles Brute pickup truck.
Okay, so we can put it in context so the average person on the street, it starts out looking like...
It starts out as a 1997 to 2006 TJ Wrangler, and by the time you're done with it, it's a American Expedition Vehicles Brute, which is a 5-foot pickup truck, box 2-seater pickup truck. And then we also do, optionally, we do 5.7-liter Hemi conversions to those trucks. In our JK Wranglers, which is the modern Wrangler, we do 6.1 and 6.4 and 5.7-liter Hemi conversions to those as well.
And you're going to be, this is going to be sold to the general public, or this is going to be...
we have a website. It's aev-conversions.com. And we're taking orders globally. Well, yeah, we did ship a car to Japan last week, so we're taking orders globally right now, and we're building JKs and TJ Brutes currently. We have a facility that does the manufacturing and warehouse distribution out in Commerce Township, Michigan.
Okay. So we are really honored to have you here in Royal Oak. I mean, we are globally focused
We're
here.
glad to be here. I mean, I'm very good friends with Chip Foose, who's a hot rod designer out in California, and when I showed him the building and what we were up to at in the building, and you know, he knows Detroit pretty well because he's such a heavy-duty car guy. And he said, you know, he told me, he goes, what place would you rather be? This is the epicenter, really. Royal Oak's really the epicenter of, you know, the hot rodding market with Woodward Cruise and the motorcycle events that happen downtown. I mean, we want to be right down here with our customers.
Well, excellent. And you're also at the epicenter of talk shows as well. Here in Royal Oak.
That's exactly right. This is what they tell me.
I'm glad you're here. So. No, really, I'm happy. I don't know a lot about cars, but I hope to come down and check it out. We're going to take a little break here in a little while, but before we do, I wanted to kind of get into how you got involved with this. I mean, you know so much about cars and customizing. How'd you get into that kind of thing?
I started out in the manufacturing business, which is the specialty is low volume. So always in the low volume business, you're going to be in the real specialty and derivative markets like hot rods and sports cars, convertibles. So that's kind of how it all started.
All right, well, I want to get more into that after our next break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Come right back to the Royal Oak Show and hear more about Mike Chetcuti. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. Thank you very much for coming back. And Mike, we were just talking about how you got involved in this, and you were talking about how your business, Quality Metalcraft Inc., it kind of got you into the area and forced you in that direction, or at least drove you in that direction? Pardon the pun.
Yeah, and even before that, I mean, I was always a car kid. Whether restoring cars, my dad and I restored a pair of '65 Mustangs when I was 16. We worked on a '37 Ford Street Rod in that same era. My first car was a '57 Chevy Bel Air. So I've always been kind of into cars, and now with the business, always specializing on that specialty end of the market, where like we were a heavy duty supplier for Ford GT, for Viper, and the convertible market. Certainly, any type of performance vehicle, we usually have product on. So you're kind of surrounded by it. So that kind of forced us into the American Expedition Vehicles transaction, because he was a very good customer of mine. So you're talking about a 6-man shop based in Missoula, Montana, that did this Jeep upfitting, and we were his #1 supplier. So we became very good friends, and he used to come to Detroit all the time to work out his problems, whether engineering or procuring parts. And I was giving him so much help other than just doing component manufacturing. He's like, we should probably work together a little closer. So that's when we entered into a situation where we became partners. And we still keep that Missoula, Montana office, because it's a great place to develop that product because of the off-road culture out there. But we have warehouse distribution in Commerce Township and vehicle upfit in Commerce Township, and we're going to have general offices here in Royal Oak.
Well, good. I'm repeating myself, but that's my prerogative. I'm glad to have you here in Royal Oak. Now, there's another side to Mike Chetcuti that many of the viewers out here may not know about. That is that you like to do a little cooking. Is that,
absolutely.
You're a gourmet cook, actually.
Well, I don't know about that. People say that, but I don't know. I just like to do it. I like to do it a lot. I like to do it for a lot of people, and I've been doing it since I've been 18. And I really enjoy entertaining people and cooking at home, rather than people come in from out of town and we take a big crew out to a restaurant. It's pretty impersonal. I'd rather just do it all.
What else do you do on your spare time? You're in some kind of band or something? Is that?
Yes. There is a rock and roll band. There's a rock and roll band called the Chet Offensive, and it's
I like that.
it's a pretty fun little gig, because it all ties back together to the automotive thing. I mean, my guys in the band are all somehow related to the auto industry. I got a guy from Mopar, and I've got a guy from Ford, and I've got a guy from General Motors. And we write songs about our love for the city of Detroit, and we kind of keep it. It's pretty current as to what's going on with the state of the economy around here.
Where would somebody see you playing if they wanted to?
Well, you can always check our website, which is myspace.com/the Chet Offensive. But I'm pretty sure we've booked a gig for the New Way Bar in Ferndale on December 21st, which will be our kind of Christmas bash.
Okay. I've visited that place once or twice myself.
Yeah.
So.
It's a good place to see a show.
One last thing, there's another side, yet another multifaceted Mike here. You also have another business venture. Tell us about that.
Which one is that? Oh, yeah. Okay. No,
did we pick a guest here or what?
No,
you own a wine shop. Let me jump right to a little unknown wine store out there.
My friends and I bought a wine store from another very dear friend that we grew up with, and it's a 50-year-old wine store in Michigan called Cloverleaf Fine Wine. Used to reside at 12 Mile and Telegraph for 35, 40 years. And they decided to get out of the business and pursue other ventures, so we bought the shop and moved to Inkster and Northwestern, and we concentrate on collectible fine wine. And recently, we have not announced publicly anywhere else, that we're working very hard with the state and the city to move Cloverleaf Fine Wine to the lower level of the Billings building on Main Street.
Oh. You'll probably have to clear that with the city commission, of course.
Of course. And we're working very closely with them right now, and they've been so cooperative in the renovation of the building. And we've made a lot of friends down there, so I don't think it's really going to be a problem. It'll be a real highlight to bring that market and those customers to downtown Royal Oak.
Oh, good. I mean, with our previous guests, Jack and Patti Salter, and you, and it's no wonder that our city is not the greatest place to live and work in the state of Michigan, I would think. So,
well, I appreciate that.
Was there anything that you don't do? I mean, is there anything that anything you want to venture into that you haven't yet done?
Well, I have a really dear friend of mine, Camilo Pardo from Ford. He's the designer of the Ford GT, and we met on the GT because I was a supplier on that project. And he's a fine artist also, but we formed a little joint venture that we call Mercury HG, which is MERKURY HG, which is the symbol for Mercury. And we do polished aluminum sculpture. And in fact, we got commissioned by Ron Ray to do a sculpture at the Renaissance Center and the restaurant that's up at the top. We did a sculpture on the hostess stand, and we've done some other things in furniture. But that's a really fun side to the business where we don't really have to, hit a deadline or make any money, but we can install these fine art sculptures that are going to be there for a long time, and everyone gets to appreciate those.
So that's kind of some of the things you do for fun, then, basically.
Yeah, but it's weird how some of the things you do for fun turn into business, because I was talking about Chip Foose earlier. He designed the Motor City Casino.
Oh, okay.
And there was a huge stainless steel band on the top of the hotel of the Motor City Casino. And they were having trouble sourcing this sculpture. And so finally Chip, after months of them trying to source it, brought them over to our place, which we don't do architectural things, we do car parts. And Chip said, hey, you got a CAD file, you got the math data, make the thing. So that was 1,000 tons of stainless steel later.
And that's yours on top of the Motor
that's
City?
ours on top of the Motor City.
Wow, I'll have to check that out when I drive by that.
So that was a really fun project to work on.
Yeah. As successful as you are, again, I'm happy that you're here. You went to, you're kind of a local guy, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Grew up in Southfield.
Okay.
Went to Brother Rice with that guy over there.
You're talking about Andy over there? Brother Rice, is that's a high school, isn't it? Wasn't one of the better high schools Catholic Central, though?
I don't know. I had friends that went to both. They all seemed to make it out okay.
Yeah. Well, it's you still keep in touch with some of the guys?
Oh,
other than,
absolutely.
Andy over here?
Absolutely. I keep in touch with a lot of guys from high school and grade school. And we've got a nice, tight little group of people. A lot of them live right here in the Royal Oak area.
Well, I can't say it enough, Mike. I'm so happy that you're on the show, and I'm so happy that you've decided to make Royal Oak your business place to be. And good luck on that the wine shop.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Ryan Shelby after these few words from our underwriters.
Tune in to our next show when our guest will be Citizen of the Year Maureen Elliott, Community Spirit Award winner Carrie Thompson, special comedic guest Dwayne Gill. Don't go away. The Royal Oak Show will return right after these messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. Seated immediately to my right is Ryan Shelby. Let's get right into it. Ryan, thanks for coming on to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, sir. It's a pleasure.
You were one of the first audience members.
That's right.
When we had Mayor Ellison.
That's right. I was here in the first show.
And
very exciting moment of history in Royal Oak. I remember it always.
Okay, that's enough. But thank you for saying that anyway. You're one of the guests that I've wanted to have on for quite a while because you and I met some time ago. I know that you were involved in some local politics, and
right.
You also have a website that we're going to get into in just a moment.
That's right.
But I'm finally glad to have you here so that we can talk about some of those things. You're a Royal Oaker, right?
That's right. True Royal Oaker for 4 years now, and this is actually my wife and I moved here about 4 years ago, and we moved into her grandmother's house. We bought her grandmother's house, and it's exciting because our daughters now are the fourth generation living in the home that my wife's grandparents built in 1949. Her mom was born and raised in that home, and now our daughters are. And
so even though you're a recent newcomer, there's a long history, long roots here in Royal Oak.
Right.
That's good. See, it never ceases to amaze me the people that we have in this community, and just the level of excitement and the talent and everything else that we have here. It's incredible. You meet people every day. That's a great thing about my job here on the show. You meet people every day that you didn't know anything about.
That's right. Yeah.
Now you have 2 children.
Right.
And you are currently working for a software company. Is that correct?
Right. I work in downtown Birmingham for a software company. It's online learning solutions, and our customers are oil companies. So
a lot of learning going on there, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, when I was reading your bio, there's a couple of things I didn't know about you, but you had worked originally for a Japanese auto supplier.
Yeah.
And you basically put yourself out of a job. Is that correct?
Yeah. I started as a CAD designer, and it wasn't long before I figured a way to automate my job.
Yeah, real smart.
Yeah. So it wasn't really that smart. For a few months, I didn't tell anybody, and I went to work and turned the jobs in, like, it only took a few seconds to do. Kept it my little secret.
Then your conscience got the better of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I told my boss, showed him the program, and they really got impressed. And I became team leader of research and development department. Was sent to Japan and worked on some other cool projects. So.
And they said thank you very much and see you later.
No. I knew I didn't want to work in the automotive industry the rest of my life. It's hard. It's hard, you know, with the economic times.
Well, I want to get right to the point. One of the reasons that we met, one of the reasons that we have you on the show is you have basically started this little website called RoyalOakSoundoff.com.
Yeah.
That's created quite a buzz and a stir among the local communities. Tell us a little bit about it. And I want to make sure I get everything in, so our time is kind of limited. But tell us a little bit about what it is.
Well, back in April, I was reading the Daily Tribune every day, and I noticed that, especially with certain issues, millages and all that, it would take a long time to get points back and forth. People would argue in the newspaper. You're lucky to see a three-step argument in a period of 1 month. So I said, there's got to be a better way for Royal Oakers to communicate. So I made the website. I created it from scratch. It still created every little bit of the website I made myself. I didn't get any other packages or anything. Well, put it out there, and not long it really hit, and everybody started watching it.
And for those of you who may not have seen it, it truly is amazing. And I'm not just overstating that, but it's basically a place where people go on. Some use their own name, some use a fictitious name, and they basically talk about relevant, sometimes irrelevant things. But it's basically a sounding board for the entire community. And I know that I've been mentioned once or twice on your
yeah, all good things.
Yeah, all good.
Yes,
yeah, right. I remember that. And I have to tell my kids, don't read that.
No.
But let me ask you the question. It's a very useful tool, and we're very happy to have that part of the community. What are some of the lessons that you've learned?
Lessons that I learned is that you can't expect everybody to use it wisely, and you can't expect everybody to be honest on it. It can do a lot of great. The mayor has gone on it and helped people. However, it can do a lot of bad. There's a lot of people out there that have motivations and are willing to anonymously just bash other people.
Well, you and I have talked once or twice off the record that sometimes some of the stuff you see that doesn't make it to that really scares you about the type of people that might be out, not just in Royal Oak, but all over anywhere the internet is available.
Right, and it comes down to, this is a website in a small community, and I really don't want to be known as someone who has a website that allows everybody to be bashed. And that's why I added user accounts recently, because I wanted real people with real opinions, not somebody who comes on and access 10, 20 different people to make it look like their point is stronger or something like that.
And I think that's one of the things that gives your website credibility, is that you try to monitor it, you try to keep it fair, you try to keep it honest, and you try to keep it from people hurting other people. And I know that in the very beginning there was some problems you had to shut down because there were some bad things being done, but it really is quite a useful tool in the community.
Thank you.
And I like what you said in your bio, that one of the reasons you started is because politics are boring and you thought you could make it a little bit more interesting. And I got to tell you, you certainly have. I mean,
thank you very much.
There's a lot of, we just have a couple more minutes, but do you see a lot of people just kind of surfing, as they say? And
yeah, there's a lot of watchers, lurkers. There's probably what you see is a good 10 people or a dozen people that participate actively every day. But by the hour, there's probably a good 50 people that come on and check by the hour. And there's probably at least 100 people that check by the day. Recently, though, with the election, today I had 800 unique people because it's the day before election.
And everybody's
typing in mayor's name or a certain candidate's name.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to wish you all the luck in the world and the RoyalOakSoundoff.com. And remember, don't let them say anything bad about me or the show.
I won't.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you very much
for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Mr. Jeff Dwoskin. He's going to keep you rolling in the aisle. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. Our next guest is comedian Jeff Dwoskin. He's played with such headliners as Tim Allen, Kathy Madigan, Kevin Pollock, George Wallace. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Dwoskin. Jeff.
Hey, how y'all doing? Great to be here. Great news. Want to share with you right away. Wife and I just had a baby recently. I tell you, there's no greater joy than witnessing the birth of your child. I remember like it was yesterday. We started heading to the hospital, and my wife's water breaks in the car, and she starts screaming, "We're never going to make it! We're never going to make it!" Finally, I turn to her and I say, "Honey, then drive faster." She's freaking out the whole time. I mean, I can't blame her. I mean, here she is about to push 7 pounds out of her body, and I know damn well no more than 2 pounds have ever gone in. My wife says 1 pound, but I'm telling you, that scale said 2. Not that you can trust a produce scale. Been married for about 13 years, and I love being married, but I gotta tell you, it's marriage, you gotta work at marriage. It's always something. Just the other day, my wife's looking at me and she's like, "Hard or soft, hard or soft, hard or soft." And that is just the pressure of taco night. Took the family to Disney World about a year ago. Let me tell you, if you love your family and you're getting along great, do not go to Disney World. There's something about expensive fun that just pushes you over the edge. 1 second you're like, "Oh my God, there's Mickey Mouse." And the next minute you're like, "Get in the teacup." Kids are excited. Winter's right around the corner. They love building snowmen. And one of their favorite things to do. And they love doing it with their daddy. And I gotta admit, I love doing it with them. I really do. But I'm a little lazy, so what I like to do is just build the head, and then we pretend it's buried up to its shoulders. Yeah. And then we poke it with a stick and say stuff like, "Tell us where the treasure is, snowman." Yeah. And it doesn't talk, you know, so then you gotta turn to the dog, and you're like, "Samson, make him yellow." I was bowling not too long ago with some buddies of mine, and got hungry. Went to the bowling alley grill, and they had a sign posted there that said, "Undercooked meat may increase your risk of a foodborne illness." And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm about to eat at a bowling alley. I've pretty much assumed that risk. You want to feel really good about yourself? Go to a bowling alley on league night and just walk up and down the lanes. The self-esteem issues just fade away. Driving up north, saw this sign said, "Prison area, do not pick up hitchhikers." That's money well spent, huh? Yeah, don't make the walls higher. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, they're jumping out left and right. Just don't pick them up. I was downtown Detroit, and this homeless guy comes up to me and says, "Sir, can you spare some change?" And I looked at him and I said, "You know, I would love to support you, but I cannot condone your use of a styrofoam cup. You are killing the environment." I'm kidding, I didn't talk to him. Adopted a kitten recently, a Humane Society. I don't know if you've ever done that, but you can't just go there, grab a kitten and run. They put you through a strict adoption process because they want to make damn sure that putting this kitten in my care is a better option than their 7-day death sentence. Yeah. And they take it real seriously too. The woman looks at me and says, "Sir, kittens can live to be 18 years of age. Are you prepared for that type of commitment?" And I said, "Ma'am, my mother-in-law is allergic to cats. It's welcome to live as long as it wants." I'm Jeff Dwoskin. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Thank you very much. Very funny. That was, those were some good jokes. I think we lost Mr. and Mrs. Salter out there, though. I think I saw them both faint, and my son kind of... No, those are good jokes, I'll tell you. No, that's a... We're cutting edge here on the Royal Oak Show. So.
We are cutting edge.
How did you get involved with comedy? That was good stuff. I mean, I love the do not pick up hitchhikers. That's always something I've pointed out to my kids when we go up north. That's
a good one. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. The I was funny at work, and friends of mine said I should try stand-up. Mark Ridley at the Comedy Castle, I had done his website years before. They have a comedy class you can take there. You learn to write for the stage, and then the writing class ends with a performance in front of a bunch of people. So I did that, and it's been about 6 years now.
Do you do anything else? Like, do you have a day job, or do you?
I do. I have a really cool day job.
Oh, yeah?
The best day job ever.
Uh-oh. Here.
I work at a company called ePrize, Interactive Promotion Agency.
Okay.
And we do some really cool stuff.
Let me ask
there.
you, which do you like better?
Which do I
Working
like
the day
better?
job or the comedy?
I love them both.
Do you? That's
I love
a good.
them both.
Good. Your partner or boss must be out there somewhere. So.
Both, my boss and my wife.
Okay. You have that problem too, I think. Yeah. Just kidding. Just kidding. What you've been doing this for about 6 years now?
About 6 years, yeah.
And if somebody wanted to see you, you have a list of things you're going to be appearing at.
I am. I'm going to be in Windsor, the Leo's Comedy Corner, November 9th and 10th. And then the Comedy Castle in Royal Oak, December 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then I will be in Ann Arbor, the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, December 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Oh. What has comedy done for you? What some of the positive things it's done for you in your life, and what has it exposed you to?
Well, I think it's helped me break out of my shell a little bit, and it helps me present. I don't really have a fear of getting in front of people and talking.
You used to be a shy guy? Is that what?
Extremely, extremely. I used to not be able to get in front of anybody in school, and you'd have to do a report, petrified.
That's amazing. And when you get up in front of people, and it doesn't bother you at all.
Not at all.
No, that's good.
Not at all.
You look like you have a lot of fun doing it too, and it's got to be a great thing to do something you really enjoy.
Yeah, I have a blast. It's a great feeling to be up there and tell a joke and have strangers laugh. It's really neat. It's easy to make your friends laugh. You have a common history, but when you can do it with strangers, there's a certain element that goes with that, a little more satisfying.
Sometimes when you have an applause sign, it helps too, right? But I noticed they didn't use it.
If I had known, I would have.
They didn't use it in your act at all.
If I had known.
Now, I know it's hard for people to believe, but you have been on other shows other than the Royal Oak show, and you've actually hit the big time, haven't you? Other than the Royal Oak show. Yeah, I mean, I said it during your intro, and don't make me a liar. You've been with Tim Allen.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, I had a great opportunity to work with the folks at WOMC, Dick Purton, the Purton people, and there was a huge benefit for Gail Purton for ovarian cancer, and Tim Allen was there and Kathleen Madigan. It was a great time.
Is that kind of nerve-wracking when you get up, or is it just do you kind of once the lights go on, you just do your thing and make people laugh?
Once the lights go on, it's great. It's people think like if there's a lot of people, that's easier. The more people, the better. Actually, the few people, the harder it is.
Actually, this is a pretty good crowd we have here tonight at the Royal Oak.
This is a great crowd. This is the best crowd ever. Royal Oak has the best crowds ever.
And I'll have you know that was without the applause sign too. So. Now you're a Michigan native, correct? You're born and raised here.
Born and raised in Michigan.
Okay, you live around this area now?
West Bloomfield. Okay. Grew up in Farmington Hills, but I live in West Bloomfield.
And now, how did you get tied up with Mark Ridley? Did you appear there? And
years ago, had a web company. Did the first Comedy Castle website, and so I've known him probably for about 10 years or so. That was way before I did comedy, and then later I did comedy.
Do you still do open mic nights? I mean, a lot of times we have people on that say that they still do the open mic just to keep in practice. And
if I have new material to do, I do, because that's the best time to do it. Otherwise, people are paying to see you run through new material. So I'll do that occasionally. Sometimes if you're working a lot, it's hard to get to it though. But I love doing it. That was when you're starting out in comedy, that's where you make all your comedy friends, is open mics. So you're doing it 3, 4, 5 times a week, and you're hanging out with these guys. And when you actually start to work, then you're actually on the road, and you don't get to see those people anymore. And so you kind of harken back to those times. Those are the best times.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, and I hope that the viewers of this show come and see. I know I'd like to come and see you. You're going to be at Ridley's. Yeah,
I'll be in Royal Oak December 6th, 7th, and 8th.
All right. Wouldn't you mind if I come by and see you?
I would love for you to come by.
I won't heckle or anything.
I'll hook you up with a ticket since they gave away all the free passes.
Thank you very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Dwoskin. Hilarious. Thank you very much for coming to the Royal Oak Show, ladies and gentlemen. And join us the next time when we're back for another episode of the Royal Oak Show. Thank you very much.